specific to that. So the sketch that you were working in the group with and the Rick Grimes stuff a bit.
Yeah.
How was that to do it?
It's like we came up with an idea of an advertisement.
Yeah.
And as part of the comedy part, like we had like side effects, like a list of side effects. So I went to do some research on what's like side effects and just added them all in, like random ones. So we include that at the end of the scene, like as part of the comedy thing. For the Rick Grimes thing, that was like a last minute thing we did at the end. No, that was like, I'm not really sure, like...
It was more in it, you devised it, wasn't it? It was more in the piece, you made it up. You didn't go away and write it the same way, was it?
It's just like last minute thing we just did at the end.
I think that what you were good at, I think mainly talk about the way you did write. What seemed really good was you were able to get out a huge amount of material, you know, and come, but you didn't use it all. You know, you had, and I think that skill is like an amazing, is a really good thing to, you know, that thing of just write loads and don't be scared to, you know some of it isn't going to work. But like if you have like 100 things, you're more likely to have one golden thing than 10 things. And you came out the next day with this massive thing of like side effects and loads of it worked. But then editing it, I think what would be really good to work on this time or like for future stuff, and it's always the hardest part is that editing process. You don't really have time in this, so it's difficult to do. But that thing of like once you've got something like that, you know, how to get it to that, you know, to get it to just that right amount and knowing what to cut and stuff. And so I think if this week you guys can, when you write it, if you write earlier, because last time it was quite late on in the process, or if you write something up earlier, then refine it, you know, and then there's different things you can do to find new stuff with it. But what do you feel like you want to do more or learn as a writer? I know you perform as well, so they link together, but as a creator and writer.
I want to like explore the genre of comedy.
Yeah.
Because that list of side effects was like based on comedy, because I was saying really fast.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those typical adverts.
Yeah.
And the Rick Grimes thing was like, you know, an impression of like an alpha guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like exploring the genre of comedy. So this time, like we want to do something around, the theme is love.
Yeah.
So we're going to explore like love and how can we make it funny.
Yeah.
And you know, just like see and play with it.
Yeah.
And then we can like eventually refine it down to something that's like really interesting.
Yeah.
But also funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about like how to do it, where to start, like any tips about where Mike perhaps starts with his comedy writing and what he gets inspiration from, or do you have any sort of things that you're desperate to get a clear idea of?
Could say what inspires you.
Yeah. I watch a lot of stuff, and mostly it is like series or films, because that's comedy, it's really accessible, you know. But I watch stand-ups as well a bit. I'm hesitant to watch stand-ups because I kind of do that myself, and the more you watch, the more likely you'll leech off, you know, you'll get inspired by it, and I want my own style to come out, so I don't watch that as much. But I think watching series and films is just a great way for comedy. You know, there's so much out there and so much different stuff, and I think developing your voice is a big part of like knowing loads of stuff. And there's some, you know, you can watch a film that's completely surreal, you know, and you might just take an ounce of that surrealness. So say like with this surreal thing, you know, it's like sometimes just pushing what you're doing that bit further where it doesn't make sense, and that you find something funny in that. And I think like you might not make a surreal piece, but at that one joke or that one moment, you use what you're inspired by in that. So I think really watching stuff is a great thing, you know, and just and then taking it into your own, and that developing your own voice is massive. It's like that will happen the more you do it, but you'll be like for me, I'm not good at writing jokes, you know, like clearly if you wrote it down, it's funny, but when I perform it, I get laughs. But if I like probably wrote it down and showed you it, you wouldn't really laugh. You probably you might like it, but I don't know if you'd like lol at it, you know. So I think like finding that voice of it and then embracing that what it is, and like going into that is a good thing. Though saying that, I think you could be quite flexible writer and write different stuff, you know. So that's a skill in itself. but I know it's such a big market now and so many people do stuff. Finding a thing that's yours, you know, or like that, you know, that's kind of the thing you feel best at, and going down that is fun to do.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I'm not super flexible performer, so I kind of have to do that. You know, it's like, whereas I think you can do different characters and stuff, so yeah.
Cool. Any other questions you want to ask, or any ideas? Like maybe you've just got a new book that's kind of quite. What are you finding interesting about that?
Like learning about like why people laugh, like the science behind comedy.
Yeah.
It's like really interesting. So like, what's your opinion on like learning how to make people laugh?
But there's like things like stand-up courses that people do. You know, some people say you should never do it, and some people say I've never done one. I think the best thing you can do is just get on stage and try stuff. Like better than anything. You know, I've read the book. I've read and I read a lot on people's process. Yeah. But I think that thing of like just getting out there and trying your stuff and sending to friends for feedback and making that stuff is by far the best way to learn. And I am sometimes worried. I would say hesitant to say, because there are rules in comedy, you know, like that can kind of work. But I think for me that finding your own thing is much. So it's good to understand them. And sometimes that means if you see something funny, you know why that's funny. You know, you can say that's funny because this and this, and you might have that intuitively. You might see it and figure it out, or you might have like read more on comedy and, you know, like read buffoon or done clowning, you know, or done stuff like that. So you kind of get like, you know, a clown is like a child and he's innocent, and that innocent view of the world makes it funny because he does stupid stuff, but it's innocent. So you know, you might know that, but at the same time, you're not gonna. It doesn't mean you can do that, and it doesn't mean you can. You know, it's a dangerous one. So definitely like read stuff, but I think finding. Don't copy that stuff you read. Don't try, you know, don't see it and be like, okay, so that's what I have to do. Because it isn't like comedy. For me, the best laughs come when it's unexpected. And some people say, well, then that's a rule, do something unexpected. But that doesn't work, because you don't always make someone laugh if I suddenly, you know, poo my pants now. It doesn't mean it's funny. I think that'd be funny, but, you know, it doesn't, just because it's unexpected doesn't mean, but that can work, you know, all the time. So I think yeah, basically like try loads of stuff, you know, and don't be scared to fail and go for different things, and finding opportunities to do stuff and asking for feedback.
So it's kind of more organic, like feeling what the audience is like, how they're reacting, and feeling that in a more natural, organic way. And is that something that you kind of have to do each time in a different way? And is there anything that you're like nervous about or unsure about in terms of like getting things from the audience?
I'm not really nervous about getting things from it. It's like actually setting it up, like finding a stand-up place, because it's really hard to like this. You're no one like in this world. Like just suddenly popping up and like, I want to do a stand-up here. That's like, I think that's the hard part. That's like the start of the process is harder than actually doing the thing. And also like it's not about like having your own set and stuff. You just want to like explore your like ideas and see what that stuff happens, you know, like what you can do, and then you can make your own thing, like your own show, your own set, and it gets better.
So thinking back to like early stages of your career, like how did you sort of get yourself out there? And
I'm still some parts I feel I'm early still, you know. So there's stuff I want to do, like I have a stand-up set, but I don't really do it in traditional stand-up venues, so I still want to do more of that. But it just takes a lot of traveling. You know, it takes a lot, like you said, it's a weird world to go into. But I think that the thing that you can do now so easily is just get a phone and film a stupid sketch. You know, you can create these things so easily and have them that exist there. You can make a stupid website and just write stupid things on it, or like you can do this stuff and it can exist. So it wasn't just like a sketch you did into the mirror. You can film it, and you can so you can start making that stuff as soon as you want, you know, and just making work all the time and coming up with stupid things and writing things and anything you want to do. And I think with then suddenly if you might do one sketch and look at it and be like, actually that's pretty good, you know, that is actually funny. And then so when you come to get into us when you don't know anyone there. You just say, look, I've got this experience, and like check out some of my work. You know, I know it's like I haven't done it. It's not a professional production, but people don't care about that. And I think but basically, just the sooner you start doing it, the easier. It's like the sooner you go to a scratch. There is quite a lot of stand-up new material nights. So the sooner you go and just do that first 10, 20 attempts, it's just gonna be easier and easier, you know. And I think you're completely ready to give that a go. You know, you could definitely like write loads of stuff, like, and choose like a few of the best, and then run them in front of friends you trust, and make sure they can give you good feedback, and like they can say when it doesn't work, because sometimes you'll do a joke and the way you perform it that night it doesn't work, but the next night it gets a massive laugh. So you want to go as ready as you can. But if you just think, a lot of stand-ups who start have never even stood on stage before. You know, they've never even performed. They just want to do it, and so they've written for years and never actually stood on it. So you've been on stage, I've seen you perform, you can, you know, look at someone in the audience, and a lot about that confidence is massive. So you're already starting with a massive, you know, like, and you're not like arrogant, so you're not going to go on and just exude this like energy that makes people hate you. You know, you're going to go on and be likable, and if you can be a bit likable but confident in that, then you can kind of get away with a lot of bad jokes at first, you know, until it becomes better and better. So yeah, you're ready for it, you know. So
cool. So how do you feel about maybe doing something this week and having a go in front of your peers here?
I feel confident. I like know most people here. So like if I come up with something, I could show them, get feedback from them, and, you know, just improve and refine.
Cool. So that gives us a bit of a starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good work.